Awesome. Thank you so much. So, today we're going to be talking about flipping the script. So, changing your mindset, changing your life. I love this topic, super exciting. Like Madeline said, my name is Brandy and I'm with Basic Balance Nutrition. So, a little bit about me, I'm the owner and one of the dietitians here at Basic Balance Nutrition. So, if you've never heard of Basic Balance Nutrition, we are a team of registered dietitians. We have a private practice here in town. So we see our clients in person and virtually. I have a few slides at the end just to go over a little bit about what we do, the services we offer, kind of what makes us different. So if you want to hear a little bit more about us, stick around to the end. And I also have a QR code at the very end where you can download these slides if you want these slides. So just FYI. So, a little bit more about me. So, I'm an Aggie and Sam Houston alumni, dog and cat mom, lover of quesadillas and anything chocolate, and hater of fad diets and restriction. So, if y'all feel comfortable, please turn your camera on. I love to see your face, but if not, totally fine. Um, but I like to see y'all. It makes me feel not so alone, right? So, overview for today, we're going to be going over why does mindset even matter, recognizing limiting beliefs, reframing the negative self-talk, and then celebrating wins and embracing growth. So, I always like to start with a question. Madeline was talking about a question. So, this is where I like to get comfy with everybody and just have that community feel because like as we practice at Basic Balance Nutrition, we're all about like getting comfy and cozy and having that community and having a safe space together. So I like to celebrate. So I want to start today with just celebrating. So what's a win you've had this month? I know we're halfway into the month. Can y'all believe we're halfway into January 2025? Because I cannot. I feel like I need to go back to the first and just kind of start over. I don't know. I feel like so much has happened. So drop it in the chat if you want to. If you want to, I don't know how y'all do it here. If you want to unmute, I know there's a lot of people. So maybe it'll just be easier to just drop it in the chat and let's see. I would turn my camera on, but I'm eating totally fine. And I'm glad that you're eating. I want you to be eating. You have to fuel your body. That's what I tell our clients too. I'm like, always feel free, bring your food, bring your snacks to our sessions, to our master classes. If anybody wants to start with a win, so lost 6 pounds while camping in Big Bend Ranch State Park over the winter break. Had good wellness exam yesterday. Awesome. I know a win for me I'll share. I finally got like all of my like 2025 just vision in place. I have a word. It took a long time. My word is elevate and I love it. So if anybody wants to steal it, go for it. I remember my vitamins every day for a whole week in a row. Awesome. That's really hard for me. If you've ever heard of habit stacking, I have to habit stack my supplements. I have to put it in front of my sweeteners for my coffee because I drink coffee every morning. So, yes, I love that. I'm eating during the day more frequently, which is a goal. Awesome. Eating consistently throughout the day is such a priority. So many people don't eat consistently enough. And then they feel bad later and they wonder what's going on. You got to eat. Your body is hungry. So, no fast food so far this year. Is that one of your goals for 2025 or maybe limiting fast food? Feeling like I'm actually focused on overall health and not obsessing over the number of the scale. Love that. I don't know if you're familiar with BBN, but it's a basic balance nutrition, BBN for short, but that is literally what we want people to do here. I made a vision board this year and it was super fun. I've never done a vision board and I've always wanted to. I need to do one. I was able to get in the gym yesterday and to do classes at Body Pump and Zumba. I love Body Pump. That's one of my favorite classes. Zumba, not so much. I'm not really a dancer. I'm not good at it, but I love Body Pump. Awesome. Yes, I love it. So many good wins. So again, how I work, I'm very casual when I do presentations. So you can pop your questions into the chat. And while I'm talking, I'll try to kind of circle back into it to kind of answer it while we're going through it. Because if you have the question, somebody else on the call probably also has the question as well. If I don't get to it, I apologize. Just I'll try to circle back at the very end and go through to make sure I answer everybody's questions. But we'll definitely have time for questions at the end. So let's get started. So going back to that overview, I want to start with just why the heck are we even talking about mindset? So you might be thinking like, you're a dietitian. Why are you talking about mindset? Why are we talking about that? And yes, we do educate our clients on nutrition and our other pillars that we have. So hydration, sleep, stress management, movement, mindset is one of our pillars. But it's also too not just educating and learning with us, but it's also a lot of unlearning with us, which is what we'll talk about today, and how to change those beliefs that we've developed over time. So if you think about it, our thoughts become our beliefs, and then our beliefs become our reality. So what you think, you become. So mindset affects literally everything we do, but especially our decisions. So our decisions around food, our health, what we do for self-care, and affects our habits. So um, are we looking at our
Okay.
habits as chores or things we have to do? Or are looking at it as like a negative? Are we looking at it as like an opportunity? So looking at it in that way as well. And then mindset determines how we handle our challenges too. So are we looking at challenges or different hurdles that we're having as failures, kind of like that all or nothing mindset? Or are we looking at it as learning experiences? Like, how can I grow? How can I make myself better? So that's why we talk about mindset. So, first thing with mindset, I want to go over just recognizing limiting beliefs and a little bit about what limiting beliefs even are. This might be the first time you're even hearing that term. So, a limiting belief is thoughts or assumptions that we accept as true, which usually aren't a lot of times, but that restricts our potential in some way. So, here are just a few examples. And as we go through, obviously, yes, we're dietitians, so we'll focus more on nutrition, health, body image, like that area. But this whole presentation can really be implemented in any area of your life. We'll have a framework we'll go through, and you can do that through any aspect of your life. So different examples, again, in that nutrition space, is the only way to be healthy is to lose weight, or I have to follow strict rules to be healthy. I'll never be able to enjoy food without guilt. I'll never be able to stick to a healthy routine. I'm bad at eating healthy and I can't control myself around sweet. So, a lot of times, those limiting beliefs are like, I'll never, or I'm bad at, or I always, or I can't, or like the only way, kind of that all or nothing thinking. So, as we go through, I kind of want you to think about it. And maybe even if you have a pen and paper, your phone by you, as we go through, maybe write some of those beliefs down that you're thinking, um, because that's kind of part of the exercise later, just as we're going through it. So, next thing, just going over, how do these limiting beliefs form? Like, how did I even start to believe these things? So, a few different places that they form, past experiences. So maybe you had a negative outcome, or I'm going to say in quotation, so a failure that you had that shaped some sort of belief. So maybe you had tried a diet in the past and it didn't work, and now you think, I'll never succeed, right? I'll never have success with diets. Or maybe cultural conditioning. So I know the holidays have come and gone. So maybe you heard from different family members. So maybe different family members say different things. Social media is huge and really loud right now, just with the new year, and just society and diet culture in general. So, diet culture, we talk about that a lot with our clients and on our social media. But things like an example of what diet culture can lead us to believe is like carbs are bad, which is not true, but that is a belief we can form if we listen to diet culture. And then one of the last ways they can form is just fear of failure of judgment. So maybe you're just trying to avoid discomfort or criticism. So your body, again, air quotes, like protects you. I could go on a deep dive. It's so crazy how our brain works, but it protects us. So it makes us form a belief, maybe I shouldn't try this because I might fail. So I'm going to stay safe, right? It's trying to keep us safe and protect us. So, how do these things influence our decisions? So we might start avoiding different things. So skipping opportunities, maybe, for instance, like trying a new workout class. I know you were talking about body pump and Zumba. So if you had that avoidant behavior, you wouldn't even go to those things because you're you're worried that maybe you might fail, right? Self-sabotage could look like acting in ways that confirm whatever belief that we have. So, an example for this one might be you overeat or you have a binge after thinking, I'm bad at portion control, right? It's you're sabotaging yourself. Your beliefs are sabotaging yourself. And then restrictive thinking. So believing you only have one option, to like that all or nothing mindset, like I have to do this to do this. I have to lose weight to be healthy, right? That all or nothing. So that's how it's influencing our decisions. But here's the good news. We can change these beliefs, which is super fun and super exciting. It does take work, but it can happen because a lot of times these beliefs that we've developed were developed whenever we were really little. So we've had these beliefs for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years sometimes, but we can still change them. So now let's go into reframing negative self-talk, what that looks like. But first, I want to go over our subconscious mind and neural pathways. And not to get too into the weeds on this, but I think you have to have some basic level of understanding to then make these changes. So we have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. So our conscious mind is what I'm consciously doing, what I'm consciously thinking. So I'm consciously sitting here, I am doing this presentation for y'all. And then our subconscious mind like works in the background. It works on autopilot and it's constantly going based off of the beliefs that we have and then those neural pathways. So how it works is our brain and our subconscious takes the path of least resistance. So it takes the easiest route. So those routes are our neural pathways. And I am a visual person. So I like to think of our neural pathway as a highway. So our neural pathways are formed through these repeated experiences, thoughts, behaviors, what we talked about earlier, like any of our past experiences we've had, that cultural conditioning, social media, different shows, different movies. It'll just like be in the background. It's really interesting. But it shapes our beliefs, that fear of failure, that fear of judgment. So the more we have these thoughts over and over and over again, the stronger or wider or bigger, right, the highway or neural pathway becomes. So what we want to do with this is we want to reroute our thoughts. So we want to take this little exit and we want to like go down this dirt road. So this might be a belief you've never had in the past that we're trying to develop, which we can do anything we set our mind to, like literally we can. So we want to reroute this thought, but what we have to do is gain awareness of what is our subconscious doing in the background so we can kind of like slow down the car, stop the car to then take the exit. So it doesn't happen overnight. Like I said earlier, it takes work, it takes time, but it can absolutely be done. But if you think about this highway, again, our brain takes the path of least resistance. So if we have this huge highway, it's going to choose that every single time versus going down this back road. But what happens when we gain awareness of our subconscious and our beliefs that we're having, especially these limiting beliefs, and we reroute them? If we do that over and over and over again and take time to do that, this highway will grow up with trees, and then we'll make a new highway where, say, that back road used to be. Does that make sense? Like very visual. Okay, cool. So this is going to be us in 2025. We are taking the exit. We are going down the back road and we are changing our mindset. So until you make your unconscious conscious, right? So until you make those unconscious thoughts, that subconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate, right? You'll just think, oh, that's just the way I've always been. This is just what it is. It's just who I am. It's my life. It's the experiences I've had. But if we bring those thoughts to the forefront and we really work through them and reroute them, again, you can absolutely change your mindset. So what we're going to do and what we're going to walk through is what I like to call our mindset audit. So it's rewiring or reprogramming our thoughts. So it's 4 different steps. So we'll go through each one. And as we go through each one, I kind of have in parentheses what we're looking at, whether it's the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, connecting the two. Where are we? Because again, I think you have to have that like basic level of understanding to understand what is going on. So step one, we want to bring awareness to your thoughts. So for at least 48 hours, we want to consciously track our negative thoughts about food, health, or our body. So we want to write these down as soon as they come up. So capturing the words, the feelings that you're having to bring them into that awareness, into that conscious mind. So let's say, for instance, our negative thought is, I step on the scale in the morning and I look down and the number on the scale isn't what I want it to be. So the negative thought I'm having is the only way to be healthy is to lose weight, and I'll never be healthy because the weight's not moving. Right? That's a negative thought or limiting belief. So as you're writing this down, thinking about the feeling too, like, are you feeling discouraged? Are you feeling shame? Are you feeling sadness? Are you feeling defeat? Like, what are you feeling in this moment? So step two is we want to look for patterns. So reviewing that list after the 48 hours or however long you're doing this. I personally like to do this every once in a while just to kind of get myself in line, not only with this, but other aspects of life too. Like I said, you can use this in any aspect of your life. We want to look for those patterns. So now we're trying to connect the conscious kind of to the subconscious. So reviewing the list, looking to see if there's any recurring themes, any recurring triggers. So for instance, in that example I gave, the trigger, if I continued to have that negative belief, would be like stepping on the scale. So the patterns often reflect a deeper subconscious belief that you've developed over time. So asking yourself, where did that belief come from? So for my example, did you see your mom when you were growing up and she weighed every single day and that number on the scale would make or break her day? Right? Or did a doctor tell you, like, hey, you have to be this weight or you're unhealthy? Like, where did that belief come from? Is it seeing it on social media, seeing it on shows, TV? And I keep referencing that because it's like they sneak it in. And again, it gets ingrained in your subconscious. It's crazy how it works. But then thinking too, like, does it truly serve me? Right? Like whatever negative thought I'm thinking, does it serve me? Like, is it helping me get to my goals? Is it helping me achieve my goals? And then number three is reframing with some sort of affirmation. So this is where we're slowing down the car, stopping the car, and now taking that exit and like rerouting that thought and that belief. So we want to create a positive affirmation for each of the negative thoughts so we can challenge and rewrite that inner narrative. So that neural pathway. So I'll give you an example on the next slide. There were so many words on here after I got done with it. So I'll put it on the next slide. And then we want to say these affirmations daily, especially when those negative thoughts start to creep in. So that example I use is the only way to be healthy is to lose weight. I'll never be healthy. And choosing an affirmation that really resonates and aligns with you. So what I put here is health is so much more than the number on the scale. So health for me looks like feeling great, having energy, moving my body with ease, nourishing my body in ways that make me feel strong and confident. So for instance, which with this exact example, what I would probably tell a client is let's talk about weighing every day. Like, let's maybe get away from that. But even if you had that thought of, oh, I have to lose weight to be healthy, in that moment, because if those thoughts start to creep in that moment, stop yourself and let's say that's not true. Like, this is true. Like, this affirmation is true. And you could choose a shorter one so you can kind of have it in your back pocket. This one is a little bit lengthy. But having it somewhere, memorizing it, writing it down on a post-it, putting it on your mirror, putting it on your computer, putting it as the background on your phone so you see it. Because remember, with those neural pathways, the more you think that thought, the bigger that highway becomes, right? And then the last step number 4, is just practicing gratitude overall. So each day we want to write down one thing you appreciate about your body, your health, or your relationship with food, because that gratitude helps with that affirmation and all aligns, right? So we want to shift away from that negativity and more into that positive way of thinking. Okay. So before I go to the next topic that we're going to talk about today. Does anybody have any questions on this at all? Because I know there were a lot of steps. I don't know if anybody had any questions as we went through. Okay. Perfect. If you're typing, continue typing, and then I will circle back and answer it. I'm going to go to the next slide. So the next thing and final thing is celebrating wins and embracing growth. So again, celebrating those wins, having that positive mindset and positive outlook on life is going to be amazing as you start to change those beliefs and those neural pathways. So the two big things here is celebrating the wins and embracing growth and not looking at those challenges or hurdles as failure. So celebrating all your wins, big and small, they all add up. So going back to like those affirmations and doing those daily, I would even add in celebrating wins daily as well. You could even take 30 seconds, like set an alarm on your phone, 1 minute, go through your new affirmation to get it in our brain, and then say, okay, what can I celebrate? You know, kind of how we started out today. Because with our society, it's so go, go, go. And I feel like it's like, okay, check off the list. And then, okay, what's next on the list? What's next on the list? What's next on the list? We never stop to think, what did I get done? What did I accomplish? What can I celebrate? So that is huge. So we want to do that. And then adopting a mindset of progress over perfection to stay consistent and encouraged. So with celebrating and even looking at like the challenges and hurdles as well, we're never wanting to be perfect because there's no such thing as perfect, but we're just always wanting to be kind of a better version of ourselves than we were before. And sometimes I wish I used to have it in my office. It just reminded me of it. I had this printout and it said expectation versus reality. And expectation was just like a line, like you start here, you go here. And reality was like scribbled everywhere because that's really what happens. Our life ebbs and flows. Um, we're humans, it's life, it happens. So it's not even thinking about progress, it's not going to be like we start here, we end here. We're going to have these ups and downs, but over time, if you looked at the big picture, we're always moving forward in some way. And then again, reframing those challenges, hurdles as learning experiences and not failure. So if something happens, instead of looking at it again as that all or nothing mindset, like I either passed or I failed, we want to get out of that. And if we have a challenge or hurdle, let's look at it to see what is going on. Like, could we do something different? Like, are you trying to drink more water, for instance? You're like, it's just not working. Well, what can we do? Can we set alarms on our phone? Can we get a reusable water bottle? Whatever it may be. So it's not that you failed. It's just like maybe what you were trying to do isn't the best way for you right now. Maybe we need to make it a little bit easier for your current lifestyle or for you in general. And then again, ditching the all or nothing thinking because it's never all or nothing because that's so pass fail, all nothing, black or white. And that doesn't help us either with this like new positive mindset we are trying to embody. So setting some focuses. I always like to set focuses at the end of the presentations. So take a minute, set 1 to 2 focuses that are challenging but attainable for you. It could be something we talked about today specifically. Maybe it's celebrating your wins more often, or maybe it's doing that mindset audit. Or maybe something I talked about today sparked something else in you, or like, hey, I really want to do that. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. And again, we want it to be challenging but attainable for you where you're currently at right now, like in your life. And I say it like that because one time I had a client and they didn't work out at all. And they came in, they're like, I want to work out every single day for an hour. And I'm like, is that attainable for you? Like, it's just not, right? So think about that when you're setting your goals because sometimes we do that, especially if we have that all or nothing mindset. We set this crazy goal that's not attainable for us and then we don't reach it and then we feel like failures. So we want to set something that's attainable. But again, we want to get out of that all or nothing mindset as well. So two, if you want to put your focus in the chat, I'd love to hear it. And if not, I'm just going to go to the next slide. Again, I'm going to go over a little bit about us. It's just a few slides. And then the last slide, I do have the QR code to the slides if you want them today. So a little bit about us, who we are, how we can help, what makes us different. So like I said earlier, we are a team of registered dietitians here locally, and we're helping our clients gain confidence with their nutrition choices and ditching that diet culture mindset. So no more restriction, and how we can help. As dietitians, we're educated on literally anything and everything nutrition, every single disease state, all of the things. So, biggest thing we see is helping our clients build that foundation with nutrition because people just don't have that foundation. And you really have to have that foundation before you can really do anything else. As someone once told me, you have to have the foundation before you can build the walls and hang the pictures, right? So you have to have that foundation first. Any kind of disease state support, so diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, any kind of GI issues, thyroid, hormones, anything, meal planning, meal snack ideas, support accountability, supplement recommendations. If someone wants that, we don't push supplements, but if someone wants recommendations, we can definitely help out, and then so much more. We really help, or we meet our clients where they're at. So we do one-on-one sessions, we do group sessions, so monthly master classes. So exactly like this is actually our monthly masterclass for this month. And then community hour that is exclusive to our BBN clients. It's kind of like a more fun office hour, but it's exclusive to them because it is a safe space for our clients, grocery store tours, and then we do corporate wellness like this. And then how we practice, just how we're different from other practices, from other dietitians out there. So we don't restrict, so we focus on what you can add versus what you need to take away. We get to know our clients individually on a personal level, so we can provide those individual recommendations. So it's not just like, here's your handout, this is what you do, like I'll see you next week type thing. It's really tailored to you and your lifestyle. We don't focus on weight, the number on the scale, or the size of someone's body or BMI. So instead, we take that full body approach. So health, kind of like the example I was giving earlier, like health looks like feeling better and being able to move, having the energy to get throughout the day, not having that 3 p.m. crash, not binging at nights. Like, what is going on? So that's what we're looking at. There's no judgment or shame working with us. So it's always a safe space. And then in addition to nutrition, we do focus on the other pillars. So, of course, mindset being one, but hydration, movement, sleep, and stress management as well. And then my favorite thing is, did you know that nutrition counseling, all of the services that I just talked about are actually covered 100% by y'all's insurance. So that includes the one-on-one sessions, our group sessions, and our grocery store tours. I know, I see an emoji. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Um, I know Madeline has told y'all about this in the emails. So it's just getting the word out, right? So tell your coworkers, tell your friends. With the A&M insurance, for sure, it is covered 100%. We're a network with other insurances. If you do randomly have a different insurance, maybe you're on your spouse's, we are in network with most of the major insurance companies. But I know for sure A&M 100% covered, like literally $0 out of pocket. Just show up to your appointment. So our locations, again, we're in College Station, we're in Conroe, Huntsville, and then we do virtual telehealth. So we can literally see anybody anywhere. It's great. And then, yes, thank you for sharing that. So that is our website. And at the top, it says schedule now, but you can read about us and see more. I know right now we are on a wait list for the College Station office, but we should be off of the wait list in the next couple of weeks, just FYI. So I think I have it on there on the scheduling website. If you want to see us, just put your name on the wait list. And how the wait list works, it's just first come, first serve. So if you're interested at all, put yourself on the wait list so we can add you to the queue. I just now started seeing them. Great. Hopefully you're having a wonderful experience. And then our motto here is because food is meant to be enjoyed. So we're all about, again, adding food versus taking foods away and helping you understand how to enjoy your favorite foods. Just overall, if you're like, hey, I want to be healthier, I just want to feel better, I want to have more energy. Or maybe you just got diagnosed with diabetes and you're like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I can't eat my favorites anymore. Yeah, you can. Let me show you how to do it. It really is easy. And I say that with love. I know it's so overwhelming and so confusing whenever you're diagnosed with any kind of any condition or disease or anything, just because there's so much misinformation online. But I do feel like, I mean, I hope we make it really easy for our clients to understand, where it's not like another thing that you're overwhelmed with. And again, we meet you where you're at. We meet one-on-one so we can give that like personalized guidance. But here again, all of the QR codes. But we have today's slides. If you want to schedule, we have that QR code as well. It just goes the same one Madeline shared. Just at the top, it says schedule now. And then we have an Instagram and Facebook. If you're like, I'm not quite ready, let me learn. Let me kind of see how you do things. You can follow us there. We're in the works of trying to be more consistent on there. So yeah, and then if you have any questions, definitely let me know. She said, I need help with meals and what snacks to have. It's great so far. Awesome. I love that. And if you go to the website, our CEO is actually also a golden retriever. I'm like very on brand with A&M. It's fine. Mags, she's also here with me. That's how she actually became the CEO. She's like always in all of my sessions I do.
Does anyone have any questions for Brandy about anything that we've covered, or just like anything that Basic Balance can help you with? Okay, don't be shy. I know you have questions.
Even if you want to send them like directly to me, you don't want to like put your name, you can too. I won't say who it is. You are welcome. Yes, hopefully I'll enjoy the homework. This is one of my favorite homework assignments to give my clients, because you don't realize the thoughts that you're having, because it's in your subconscious and it runs on autopilot. We have no idea what's even happening. Let's see. Do you guys work with people who are on GLP-1 or other medications? Absolutely, yes. And it's actually, I advise you to, especially if you're on a GLP-1, to come work with us, because they can be a little bit challenging to navigate by yourself. Because what ends up happening sometimes, if we don't do it the right way, we lose muscle mass. So we want to make sure we're balancing in the right way. You're welcome.
Okay, well, I'll ask a couple questions then, because I have
Perfect.
some. And I'm here to learn too. So if we're trying really hard to like flip that script, and we are just finding that we're constantly sort of telling ourselves the same story of like, I can't have this donut is bad for me, this donut is bad for me. Like, what is the first thing that you would recommend doing if this just is not breaking? Like, and I keep trying to tell myself that the donut's good for me, but it's not working.
Yeah. So I guess I would have to see, because again, we worked on an individualized basis with our clients. So I'd have to kind of know more, but it's like, what have you tried? Like, have you tried kind of exactly what we did before? Like, are you, is it like other foods too? Is it just donuts? Like, I had one client, it was like any kind of fast food. They were like, would really beat themselves up over it. But what I had specifically with that client with the fast food, that was like the trigger that was happening. I had her actually incorporate those foods into her meals over the weeks, where it's like, hey, a donut is part of a balanced diet, and again, having that affirmation as well, whatever makes the most sense to you. But just putting it into that balanced plate, because whenever we talk about our balancing method, we want carbs, protein, fat, and non-starchy veggies or fiber coming from somewhere. So like with your donut, because again, it's going to be carbohydrates and fat, right? With a donut, it's like, what kind of protein can we do with it? So like balancing out a little bit, maybe adding some kind of fiber on the side too, to really balance it out. Because if we're eating it like that, it's balanced, right? Like our body doesn't say, oh, that's a donut, I'm gonna process it differently. Like a donut has carbohydrates coming from starches and sugar, and it has fats in it, right? So it can be part of a balanced diet. So I would challenge you to kind of incorporate it in until it just kind of feels like it's just a carb. Like it's just another food, because just all foods give our body energy. Like yes, some are more nutrient dense than others, but if we restrict ourselves from having the donut, what's going to end up happening like 4 weeks from now, we're going to binge on the donuts. So if we just make it like, hey, donuts are just a thing, like, and I've done this. So I yo-yo dieted from sixth grade until my master's degree. And I was very much the all or nothing, like you can't have this, very black or white thinking, like this is good, this is bad. So my thing was brownies. I
Mhm.
love donuts too, but my big thing was brownies. So it's like I didn't eat the brownies. Then when I got hold of the brownies, you'd eat like all the brownies, right? And now, like I literally, we made brownies last night, and I like had one. I have more left. I'll probably put them in the freezer because what ends up happening now, I don't eat them all. But back in the day, it's like that pan of brownies is gonna be gone in like 48 hours, right? But it's the mindset about it. It's really, it's not actually the brownie. It's the fact that I was looking at brownies as bad,
Mhm.
you know? So it has some sort of affirmations, and I would incorporate it into your into your diet, like over the next few weeks and see how that changes. But again, you have to stop the car, take the detour. So that could even be good, like whenever you go to have the donut, like have that affirmation in your head, say it out loud, write it down. One thing that really works, and some people are like, it works. If you have a list of affirmations, even if you have only a few, record yourself saying it and listen to it. Your subconscious really likes to hear your own voice saying it. It sounds very woo woo. There's science behind it, y'all. It works. It just does. So that could be another thing. Like listen to it while you're getting ready, or listen to it when you're in the car. Because it doesn't even have to be in that moment that you're trying to eat the donut. It can be anytime.
Yeah,
Because again, we're just trying to go drive down that path as many times as we can. Does that make sense?
it does. I
I'm
love
like,
that.
I need you to report back. I need I
I'm
need you
gonna
to
have
hear
to.
I need
I'm
you to
gonna have
email
to.
me and let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's see. How does education about how our body changes once we turn 50 and harder to lose weight? How does nutrition help these efforts? Um, so as we age, yes, nutrition is huge. We have to make sure we're still balancing and whatnot because most people that come to see us aren't eating enough consistently throughout the day. So then usually we're like overeating at night and binging and different stuff. So we have to make sure we're eating consistently throughout the day, but especially after we turn 50, exercise is huge. Especially like strength training, because as we age, our body loses muscle mass. And how we look at it, instead of looking at weight, because weight tells me nothing, we focus more on metabolism overall, right? So looking at metabolism after we turn 50, or even as we age, like after we turn 30, really are we start losing muscle mass. So making sure we're doing activities that maintain and increase our muscle mass, because that's going to help with not only like our weight and our metabolism, but so many other things, just like honestly just um our quality of life overall. Let's see, recently heard that said, as we eat what you want, add what you need. I love that. That's great. That's so good. Eat what you want, add what you need. Perfect. And that's what we focus on. Like we look at whenever someone comes in, what are you doing now? What do we need to add in? And being able to enjoy your favorite foods. Like Madeline was talking about the donuts. Like we're human. We're gonna eat donuts, especially if you love donuts. Like I love brownies, I'm gonna eat brownies. Um, but and it's taken me a long time to get here where I am today. Because back in the day it was like brownies bad. If I eat them, then I'm bad. Then I have to start over on Monday, and all that stuff comes up. So that's the diet culture. That was the diet culture in me. Again, now like brownies are just sitting there. Like they're just sitting there. And you can be there too. It's crazy because back in the day I thought this is who I am. I'll never change. Like I'll never stop overeating. I'll never stop binging. And now I'm like, it just is. But part of it too, not only like viewing it as a bad food, but a lot of people aren't eating enough because diet culture tells us to be healthy is you need to lose weight to be healthy, or you need to be in a smaller body to be healthy. And to do that is to eat less and move more. But eating less and moving more, like those recommendations plummet our metabolism depending on how you do it, which how diet culture tells us to do it eat less, and do cardio 7 days a week for an hour at a time, that doesn't help us at all. Does your program work with children as well? Right now, we only see 18 and up, but I'm in the works of adding that in. And it's more of like a liability thing for us for kids, like the paperwork and whatnot. And then I'm not sure how the insurance billing works with them, but it is on the queue, but we're not quite there. But we do have someone, her name is Courtney Bliss with Feeding Bliss, and she's amazing and she works specifically with kids. So we usually recommend or refer out to her if anybody calls to work work with kids. Let's see. I try to make substitutions when I want a sugary treat. And if I still need the refined sugar treat, then I do a smaller portion. That's what helps me. I also found that eating salty food makes me crave sugar, and my sugar cravings go way down when I stop eating fast food or restaurant food in general because it is super salty. Overly processed food is also super salty. When I cut the salt, the sugar seems to follow. And that could work if that works for you, absolutely great, because different things work for different people. So it's great that you have that like self-awareness. Hey, when I do this, this is what happens. Um, but if there's anything like any kind of negativity when you think about the sugary food, because you're like, when I want to eat a sugary food, I make a substitution, and if I still want to not eat it, like if there's any negative in there, I would definitely say work with us and address that. Because what ends up happening, not saying in your case, but just most times what I see is people are like, well, I want this brownie, but I'm gonna eat this apple instead. And then you still want the brownie. Basically, you end up eating the whole cabinet and the brownie at the end of it. So if that's where it goes, then let's definitely work through it. And if anybody on this call kind of feels that same way, I know I used to do that. So just something to think about. I'm trying to drink more water. What tips will you give to those that are trying to consume more water? I've read that this is so important and we need it. So I want to make it a goal and implement it daily. So I would see number one, think about where you're at with water. Like, are you drinking none? Like, how much are you drinking? And then kind of go from there. But as far as like drinking water tips that I give clients, setting an alarm on your phone to just drink throughout the day, if that works for you. Put a post-it note, put a block even on your calendar so you physically see it. If you're like me, I'm big on like time blocking. So if you have to stop to do it, great. Keep water like beside you. That's usually what I do. I always have water with me. I know I'm one of those people. I used to make fun of people with Stanleys, but then my sister-in-law bought it for me last Christmas, and I drink so much more water now. Whatever. But any kind of water bottle, even if you refill like a Dasani water bottle, whatever, keep it next to you. Personally, I do like a reusable or like refillable water bottle like this. And then in my ice box, I have like a big Dasani. It holds 4 cups at a time. So I just know how many of those I want to drink throughout the day. So then I fill it up in here. So I know how much I'm drinking. I don't always track, but every once in a while I'm like, okay, let me just see where I'm at. Because even with tracking, sometimes that can end up getting into kind of like a negative mindset where it's like that all or nothing. And I know I'm susceptible to like falling into that. So just being aware of that too. Um, and even drinking more water, like putting Crystal Light in there, doing like the infused waters with fruit, um, doing like LaCroix or something fun to get some water in. So things like that, like decaf tea. I know decaf still has a little bit of caffeine in it, but I love tea. So like decaf tea or decaf coffee is another good way to get some hydration in. How closely do you monitor your daily caloric intake? I don't count it at all. I used to back in the day whenever I was in my like diet culture mindset, very much like my fitness pal, enter every little thing I add in. Let me weigh everything. Let me track everything and measure everything. But for me personally, it just doesn't work. And for the majority of clients that we see, that just doesn't work for them because again, it gets into the all or nothing mindset. Um, Now, with that being said, what we do at Basic Balance Nutrition, when we get to a certain point with our clients, depending on where they're at education level wise, whenever they come in, we do go over like your estimated nutrition needs, but we never look at it as like a here or under, like that as a restrictive way. We look at it as a, hey, calculating your energy needs as a like a 1.2, which is like a you're in bed all day. Like you need this to survive. Here's your number. You need this or more to just for your body to function. Um, Again, most people that come in, like here's their 1.2, you need this to function. They're here. So first we have to slowly get them up to here because we don't want to jump too quickly either. That will make you feel good. So slowly increasing it and then going above that. And with that, once you are giving your body enough food, then your metabolism can actually increase and then your body like lets go of that weight. I actually had a client once, it was a male, and he came in and I told him that. I'm like, we need to be eating more. He was doing very low carb. So he came in the next session, he had tracked everything because he was going to come in and prove me wrong. And he like lost like 7 pounds or something. I'm like, okay, great. So it sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually intuitive. It sounds counterintuitive because diet culture tells us eat less, move more if you want to lose weight. Like, yeah, you can do that in the short term, but over time, if you looked at your metabolism and muscle mass, it would be going down. Can you please send me the info for kids? Yes, I'm gonna copy that over and put it on my note, and I will send you that. Okay, set a reminder on your browser. It sends you a message. It's helpful. Perfect. I didn't know you could set a reminder on your browser. Or are you talking about probably the hydration from earlier? I've never done that, but that's great. I like the Gatorade Zero little packets. Helps me get another glass of water in. Perfect. Yes, I love doing things like that because I drink water all day. I'm like, I just want something fun in the evenings. And I'll share a personal detail with y'all. So prior to last year, it was kind of like middle of the year last year where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I would get home and I'm like, I just want something different than water. So I'd like pour a glass of wine. And then that like became a habit. And so I was like, okay, I gotta stop this. So it was just a habit I was in. I'm like, I just want something fun and like a fun glass. So now I do like mocktails or LaCroix or things like that, where I can still have fun with it and not be drinking just like water. So like, yeah, mocktails too. That could be a fun one to kind of even increase your water intake too.
You can put your water in a fun glass.
I know, but I don't want it to be just plain water. I want
That's
it to be
fair.
something fun. Like, like I have like my wine glass, like with my LaCroix, like the bubbles. It's just it's like a whole vibe. Like put a lime in it. So good. I'm just trying to feel fancy. Perfect. We all had amazing questions. Loved it. It's great. Any other questions?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I know. Or forever hold your peace for 2 weeks, so I'll be
For
back.
2 weeks. Speaking of which, if you this is part one of our series with Brandy, so we've got a 4-part series. That link will take you to a place where you can register in the Living Well app and website to see all 4 are listed on the same webpage and you can sign up for them. So next we will be talking about mindful eating and how to tune into your body's signals, and that'll be on January 28th. So if you haven't already signed up or you're interested in it, please do that and come back and see us.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Brandy, could you leave us with maybe 1 or 2 examples of your favorite affirmations that you use to sort of flip the script?
Ooh,
Put you on the spot.
I know. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I need to go back and look through them because I have them recorded.
Mm.
Um, but I haven't listened to them in a while because I feel like I was like in a good place, so it kind of like fell out. But that's my like 2025 is to like go back through them, rewrite them because again I had them recorded and re-record it. Um, I'm trying to think. I know one of mine is I'm strong mentally and physically.
Love
So that was
that.
one of my ones I did last year because I wanted to really increase my muscle mass. And not look at it as, which that's like a whole different topic, but not looking as working out as like changing your body, but it's just like feeling strong and feeling empowered and gaining that muscle mass like to be able to move when we're older, right? So looking at it like that. I'm trying to think of something else. Let me think. What other ones stood out? Like a good one. I'm trying to think of like a good one outside of like the main ones you hear? I'm trying to think. Mm. I'm like, I might have to get back to you all the next class.
Okay, well then I feel like I
Yeah,
just accidentally gave you homework.
I know. I need to do my homework. I know I did my goals. Now I do my affirmations and then I do a visualization every year too. I usually do it every 6 months. So it's like, where do I want to be in 6 months? So kind of
Love
working
that.
in the same way of like with the mind. It's like, it's so good though. Like today is July 1st, 2025. I'm so happy and grateful this is my life. And like, this is what it looks
Yeah,
like. It's good.
that's
Good stuff.
wonderful.
Yeah. So fun. Perfect.
Okay, well, perfect. Thank you, Brandy, so much for
Great.
being
You
here
are
and
welcome.
sharing all of this information.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone who joined us. I'll stick around on for just a little bit longer in case anybody has any questions or concerns. And then Brandy was so kind to let us record, so we will get this posted up on our YouTube soon if you want to go back and watch any parts and refresh. And hopefully we'll see you guys all in 2 weeks.
See y'all then. Bye, y'all.
Yay!